Did Uglies go too far with their branding? Because they made one ugly movie.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today, we are diving into, did the Uglies live up to its title? My name is Chris, as always with me.
Liam Weisner.
And we're talking Netflix's newest, bomb or success, you shall see. Chime down in the comments, what did you think? We're gonna dive in now. What did you think, dude?
Watching the trailer, I thought this was gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really did, because I like Maze Runner, I like Hunger Games, and what's the other one? There's one more that fits that big criteria.
Okay, off the top of my head.
I can't remember at the moment. But for me, I enjoyed following the story, what little it made sense. I like seeing the graphics, and I've seen and heard comments of it being like terrible AI and stuff like that, but I appreciate the AI stuff.
I was going to say, we've seen terrible AI, and if AI is doing editing like that, it's actually pretty damn good.
I would say so too.
But you know, I haven't, again, like you just said, the trailer itself had a lot of potential. I'm a huge fantasy sci-fi person, so, you know, for me, I was like, oh, cool, this is interesting. I did get very much dystopian, you know, Hunger Games, different cliques and societies at first, just from the trailer, and then, you know, the intro to the actual series. It gives you a little bit more of that backstory of how it all came to be, which very cool. I had a problem with it from the intro backstory though, because, and let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, especially in living in today's society. They talk about how they solved their energy problem, but they were still dealing with the idea of human nature and how we're going to be greedy and we're going to be, you know, jealous, and we're going to have all these different things that cause conflict rather than this harmonious nirvana of peace. And they did this genetic rewriting that made everyone the same, or at least beautiful, right? And so that they got rid of this difference that was causing all of this problem. But they didn't. Because if you think about society today, one of the number one problems still to this day that especially our government pushes is color of skin, is race, right? Is like, you know, they're different, so we have to have all these different things for each other. I mean, segregation was a thing in the United States for a long time. So it's not like they got rid of that. And so I'm like, okay, you made everyone pretty, but that wasn't like, we weren't upset because people were ugly. We were upset because they were different, and they are still very different. You just made them pretty. So how did you solve that issue? You didn't. And I couldn't figure it out at first. And then as the movie went on, I kind of figured out, oh, that's how they're keeping everybody in line. But I had a problem with the plot and the theme and the story from the very start. I was just like, wait a second. In a world where racism is real, and there are people who still in the United States have issue with the color of someone's skin, you're going to tell me that you completely made the world okay just by making everyone pretty?
They also gave a new enemy too.
Well,
and something to drive for,
yeah,
that everyone can get solved. So they created a new issue telling everyone who didn't have this done that they were completely ugly. But hey, don't worry. As soon as you turn 16, you're gonna be beautiful too. So they did give them an enemy, which was themselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I was sitting there, and obviously it's like they're talking about they're solving the world's problems and making everything this utopia and nirvana, and they're explaining how they did it. And I'm just sitting there coming from our society and the world we grew up in and live in. And yeah, we've come leaps and bounds in that area now. But if you look at it, there are still, again, pockets in the United States who are very racist. And, you know, I was just like, okay, that didn't solve that problem. There are still going to be people who look different. Maybe they're pretty now, but they're still going to want to be segregated. They're still going to want to take over, you know, certain areas and keep people out. And so I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then and then maybe that jaded me walking in right off the bat, because I'm like, okay, I love science fiction. I love the idea of, you know, genetic manipulation. I love this whole thing. This is cool. But you didn't solve the problem. And now I'm stuck on that. And the problem being that everyone needs to be the same. The big issue they were pushing was that it was the differences that were causing this. But you didn't make everyone the same. You just made them pretty. So I was like, that's a huge plot hole for me.
And lobotomized them.
Which ultimately, as we watched it more, made more sense to me. Okay, you're not really making them all like each other. You're just taking away their free will. And now they have to like each other. That makes way more sense now. But yeah, so would it be cool if we could all just get rid of differences and all be equal? 1000%. But that's not, like, they didn't ever give us an inkling of how that could happen or why they did that. And it was just brainwashing in the end anyway.
And the power grab.
Yeah.
I think she just wanted to be queen bee, control everyone.
Yeah.
And keep her comfy little society exactly the way she wants it, and only her way of doing things. The moment as we saw the rebels,
Yeah.
which weird, they were just as attractive as everyone else.
I think that was like the through line of the movie, is that becoming pretty didn't actually make you pretty. Because majority of them were quite attractive inside and out before the surgery. Most of them way more inside attractive because they lose all that once they become pretty. But yeah, from that part, and then there was huge gaps in time that we lose, right? So it just jumps forward like months at a time. And so you lose a lot of the story that's actually happening. Like, yeah, I get that the main character Tally and the other one they call Skinny, I forget her actual name, they've formed this like really tight knit bond over like a 3-month period of time that we basically just gloom over with some hoverboarding.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there was just so much plot hole and so much details missing that they were just like, we're gonna throw this at you and hope it works, and then gloss over it later. It made no sense. The main one that stood out to me the most, and I almost called it, was at the end. They're running out, and I'm like, Homeboy's gonna be there waiting for him. He's gotta be. There's gotta be that epic clash where she reminds him who he is at the end. And out of nowhere in the movie did it ever hint to us that he would be in that location. He's just there. And it's just there for that epic scene at the end because the movie had to have it. I mean, you know, did it hit all the like tropics, like all the stereotypical things that they need to hit? Yeah, but it skipped everything, every other detail, everything that would have made it flow, that would have made it make sense, that would have made it like rational for the viewer, was just like, nah, screw it. We're just gonna throw it's a sci-fi, so we can just kind of go. We
can get away.
We can get away with it.
Plus, it's Netflix.
Yeah, and I don't know. I thought it had a lot of great potential, and they absolutely, in my opinion, just left out. And let me know. Did you read the books, right? Because I'm sure we're dogging it because we've only ever seen what Netflix put out as a garbage fire. But, you know, I'm sure the books were great, right? Because there's many movies that me and you have seen where we're like, that was shit. The book was way better. And so maybe that's the case. Let us know in the comments. What was the book good? Was the book worth...
It's definitely a young adult book. And the other series I was talking about was Divergent.
Yes, I do remember those. They butchered those movies too. That's a horrible book to series interpretation as well.
I thought the movies were fun, but yes, the books were way better.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job with the Scorch Trials and all of that. You know, the Death Maze, that trilogy. I thought they did a decent job. But yeah, again, like, it's just Hunger Games. They did a phenomenal job with translating over. Just, they missed the mark with Uglies, for sure. The Uglies was the mark they were aiming for, and they made an ugly ass movie, for sure.
Ugly lives up to its name. I don't know. I might give it a chance if they come out with a second one and they make some improvements, because they left so much undisclosed from this first movie.
Yeah,
Why the hell was it only an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah.
They could have added a bunch more in and saved the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, they could have done like a Rebel Moon, where, you know, they put it out in 3 and stuff. Not that that was a good movie, right? Not that Zack Snyder's doing anything good over there, but almost like where it's like a like each movie's 3 hours, and they drop them, and it's like an installment that allows you to actually understand the universe, not just jump from point to point to point. Because as soon as they start talking about the smoke, I'm like, oh, that's going to be the wasteland, that's going to be the rebels. I already know that. This is a normal, like, we're following this path. I know this. We're eventually going to get to see that. So like, I knew where we were going, and I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to be more plot, more character arc, more development, more like just actually explaining why these things go and work the way they do. And instead, it was just stereotypical, like you said, check the list, forgot everything else, and left me disappointed.
Tell you what, though, their marketers did a hell of a job, though.
Netflix is good at marketing, for sure.
They did a hell of a job, because they made it seem like it was going to be great.
Yeah, well,
It was, to me, I watched it, definitely wouldn't watch again. Second one comes out, I may watch it just like I did with the part 2 of Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon, the first one was, I actually enjoyed the first movie.
Till like the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but that again too, I don't mean to interrupt you, but my biggest gripe with Rebel Moon Part 1 was the same thing. It's like you have this awesome team coming together with all these diverse backgrounds and abilities that are going to become your rebels, that are going to be the focus moving forward, and you just boom, 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 from planet to person to planet to person, pick them all up, and all of a sudden you have this ragtag team, and you did it in like 30 minutes, and I don't know anything about them. When it could have been, the whole movie could have been that.
If you want to waste an hour and 40 minutes of your life, go ahead, but I wouldn't recommend watching it.
Yeah.
That opinion may change if they fix shit in a sequel that they do.
Yeah, a director's
As
cut.
of, if it's like by itself, standalone right now, and they're not making any sequels, don't waste your freaking time.
Yeah.
No.
I even tried rewatching it last night just because I knew we were going to be doing this today.
I wasn't bothered.
I made it maybe 15 minutes in and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I'm like, I thought maybe I missed something the first time through. I was trying to give it a little bit more credit, but no, there's just huge holes. And I'm just like, okay, I can't do this. I've got everything I need to talk about now. That's how I felt. But if you did see it already, which is probably why you're here, and we just went through a bunch of spoilers, so it makes sense, let us know. What did you think? And I really want to know, if you read the book, was the book good? Because I'll go get the book and read it. Like, if it's good, I'll check it out. But you said it was also more of like a teen series?
It's gotta be.
Young adult
It's
kind of thing? Yeah, okay. Which I've liked some of those series too, so we'll see. Like Twilight, I was also much younger when I read that, but I thought that was a good series. Not a good movie, but a good series. If you guys really like sci-fi, fantasy, if you're really into entertainment and games, you guys check out this video right here. It's actually a trailer that dropped. We have a bunch of views on it, a lot of really good hype, and we're really excited about it too. So go check that out right now. And if you don't like that, but you do like other Netflix specials that were really good, you can check out this video right here and stay in touch with us here at the G-Spot.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.